This is KGW News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Folgers. We begin tonight with a story of resilience and a call for change. A local woman is celebrating a year of being alive after a terrible Portland crash. She was hit by a drunk driver exactly a year ago. And although she's not fully recovered, she's back on her feet. Galen Etland shares the event that reunited her with people who helped save her life.
A peaceful bike ride Sunday came with more than sunshine.
Be safe and take care of each other out there.
Estelle Morley helped organize this Pedalpalooza event for victims of vehicular violence.
A celebration of my second chance at life.
It was here, 4th of July weekend 2021, at the intersection of Southeast Lynn and 17th in Portland, where a drunken driver hit Estelle on her bike, critically injuring her.
Had an open femur fracture, open ulnar radial fracture. I broke 9 of 11 ribs.
She was put under 13 times for surgeries, and after many months of therapy at OHSU, could finally walk again.
I'm glad to be alive.
Some in the crowd here are the neighbors who rushed to her side after that crash.
Someone put a blanket on me. People held my hand and sang songs and asked me questions to keep me conscious.
To each person who showed up, Estelle gave a hug.
So proud of you. This is so incredible.
And Portland police officer Peter Brown gave her one too. He was the first to respond to the crash.
It's one of the worst ones I've seen. I'm glad to meet you.
Estelle's loved ones invited him here so the two could meet for the first time since that day, exactly a year ago.
Very often we see people at their lowest points. We see a lot of really awful things, and we don't know what happens next.
Estelle couldn't hold back the tears.
Why did I wear mascara?
Saying Officer Brown's actions that day helped save her leg and her life.
Anybody who puts on the uniform, signs up to do the job, is to be there when it matters.
All right, everybody.
And what mattered on this day was togetherness.
Love one another, because that's what it's all about.
And an awareness of road safety. Estelle hopes her story catches the attention of PBOT and ODOT to help improve biking infrastructure and education.
A responsibility to be stewards and to be safe.
As the group reached Milwaukee Bay Park, they celebrated.
This is a reflection of my community.
Sharing joy.
In the world where there's a lot to be sad and scared about, it is incredibly powerful to have something to feel hopeful about.
And sharing gratitude for a bike ride that came with more than sunshine.
Just recognizing that we have an impact on each other.
Galen Etland, KGW News.
We're hearing from Portland city leaders today after a father and his 5-year-old were attacked in an alleged bias crime this weekend. It happened on the East Bank Esplanade just south of the Hawthorne Bridge around 3:45 yesterday afternoon. A man from California and his daughter say they were riding their bikes when a man walked up to them, made comments about his perception that they were Japanese descent, and then began punching them. He allegedly hit the father in the head and the child in the bike helmet. Witnesses stepped in to stop the attack. Police arrested the 34-year-old suspect on first and second-degree bias crime charges. City Commissioner Carmen Rubio, who heads up the city's Office of Equity and Human Rights, released a statement saying in part, "I'm so sorry our guests were subject to this terrifying event, and I want to personally apologize to them. No one should ever fear for their safety and security, whether visiting our city or living here." And we have an update tonight on the war in Ukraine as Russian forces are gaining ground in the eastern part of the country, claiming they've taken control of a key city. President Volodymyr Zelensky made a promise to return to the city and said Ukraine does not give anything up. As the war enters its 5th month, Ukraine is once again bringing the fight to Russia itself. Moscow says Ukrainian missiles killed 3 people in a Russian city near the border. Civilians on both sides are bearing a huge part of the war's lethal burden, with American volunteers also caught in the crosshairs. Bunny Druki's son, Alexander, is one of 2 military veterans captured after they traveled on their own to help Ukraine. She just had her 2nd phone call with him.
I am so darn proud of him for being willing to give up everything to go over and help these people and to defend democracy and to save, hopefully, this from becoming another world war. I'm just so proud of him.
It's unclear exactly who is holding Alexander, but he told Bunny it's likely pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. A Portland man is back home after volunteering in Ukraine for about 2 months, but he tells Christelle Kumwe he's not done helping the war-torn country yet.
I'm just a normal guy, who had a desire to help.
Portland native Dylan Hall says he felt a calling when Russia invaded Ukraine.
I was overcome with anger, frustration, feelings of helplessness. It was at that point that I started thinking to myself, I wonder if there's some way I can get involved.
He heard about volunteers helping refugees along the Polish-Ukrainian border.
I bought my ticket, and I didn't have much of a plan at the time, but I knew I'd figure it out.
And he did, starting in April at the border in Poland before continuing into Ukraine. Along with a couple of other volunteers, Dylan delivered medical supplies, water, and tons of food to people in cities that have suffered heavy shelling.
It was something I'll never forget. I just saw so much destruction, and, I walked through a high school in Kharkiv that was just completely destroyed, an entire high school.
The cause is dear to his heart, but so is the way he funds his mission. Dylan used the money his father left him when he passed away 2 years ago.
And he always taught me when I was growing up to, help those less fortunate than me. It was a huge thing for him. So, when this war started, I had this opportunity to be a volunteer. I thought to myself, maybe I can really use this money for something good.
After about 2 months in Ukraine, Dylan returned to Portland in mid-June, but he won't be here for long.
So I wanted to work on, some fundraising with family and friends, and now I'm ready for, the next chapter.
That's a one-way ticket back to Ukraine to continue to help people in the war-torn country.
I found something that I feel incredibly passionate about, which is doing this volunteer work, and it's brought me a lot of meaning in my life.
It's brought purpose and love.
Another volunteer, who's actually now my girlfriend, Valeria, who I met in Lviv.
An answered call to help others in times of need.
To be able to help so many people there that, at the most desperate time of their lives has been, an experience of a lifetime.
Dylan heads back to Ukraine on Monday, July 4th. Dylan and his girlfriend, Valeria, who lives in Ukraine, started a GoFundMe to help provide additional resources and supplies to people who need them most in the country. Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
A holiday weekend rescue on Mount Hood after a climber fell hundreds of feet and had to be airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 6:30 Saturday morning. The 43-year-old man from Happy Valley fell near the old chute area of the mountain. Witnesses say he lost his ice axe and fell 600 to 700 feet. He was seriously hurt and flown to a Portland hospital. This comes just over a week after another climber was rescued in that same area. The Sheriff's Office wants to remind you that climbing Mount Hood is dangerous during all times of the year due to steep and icy conditions. We have an update tonight on the effort to bring more affordable housing to Clackamas County. A new option just opened up in Gladstone for older adults who are at or near the brink of homelessness. They cut the ribbon on Tukwila Springs this week. It is now 48 units of permanent housing for those 50 and older who make 30% or less of the area's median income. The first priority goes to those from Gladstone. Most of these living spaces are studio size, but there are some one-bedroom units available as well. Supportive services are also on site for anyone who needs them. This is the first completed development in Clackamas County that uses Metro Affordable Housing Bond money. $5.6 million pays for just under a third of the project, and another $2.6 million came from the state's Permanent Supportive Housing Program.
This is a life-changing facility for the people who will come in here. They will tell you that. It gives them a second lease. It gives them an opportunity to get well.
This is one of many affordable housing projects in the works in the county. Right now, 950 units are under development or in the planning stages. The goal is to reach 1,500 units by 2025.